Hello and welcome to the vlog of Rhonda's Readings. This is another recipe. Today I'm making Asian dumpling soup. This is one of those recipes you make the soup depending on what veggies you have. And the dumplings I'm making with sausages I made. If you saw my live video on Facebook, Rhonda's Readings and Rocks, on the 13th of June, you saw that we were making sausages. So we made some Chinese seasoned sausages. So we're making dumplings from those and we're going to put them in our soup mix. So the soup will be with noodles, mushrooms and other vegetables, and the dumplings will be made primarily with the Chinese seasoned sausages that we made. We're just going to take out the mince and make dumplings. So it'll be in two parts, and I'm really looking forward to tasting this because I love anything like this. I love the flavours and the vegetables, obviously keeping it healthy. So this is something you can make. You don't have to make it complicated. Just use what vegetables and what things you have at home. Okay, so let's get started. The ingredients I'm using to make the dumplings are some round gyoza wrappers. So I brought these from the country, so that was the only one available, and it's actually a pretty big packet and it was quite cheap, so I'm lucky. These are the sausages that we made on Saturday the 13th of June. We made these with the Chinese seasonings. I'll also be using some of the vegetables that I'll be using for the soup in with the dumplings. Not much, of course, and I'll also use a little bit of coriander. So I'll use that in the flavouring of the soup, the dumplings, and for the seasoning. So that'll be a really nice way of tying all the flavours in together. The vegetables I'm using in the soup, you'll see me cut them up. I've got pak choy and choy sum. I also have spring onions. I also have an onion, a couple of carrots, a red capsicum. So some of these are homegrown, which is lucky for me. I've also got mushrooms. So I've got just the standard cup mushrooms. Also got some enoki mushrooms. These are quite nice. A lot of people, I don't like enoki mushrooms on their own, but I do like them with other flavours. I also have some shiitake mushrooms. So because I've got so many, I'm just going to use a little bit of each. The stock I'm using is literally something I've got, which is a Thai stock base. So that is, there's a recipe on the back to use, but it's great for soups, rice or grains, curries, casseroles or stews, or chicken or pork dishes. Just trying to see what's... Okay, so the Thai stock base is infused with lemongrass, chili and kaffir lime. So that's some more seasoning. I'm not actually adding any more chili to it because I find this stock is a little bit hot. It's quite warm with an aftertaste. I also have just some rice noodles. And to season, I can add these in the soup, but I'm more likely to use them sort of towards the end and have them as seasoning. I've got some coriander and I've got some bean sprouts. I'm starting to chop up the vegetables now. I've got two bowls ready. One's to add vegetables for the topping and then others to add veggies for the soup. So the spring onions I'm going to use in both. So I'll use more of the green ones for the topping, the seasoning on top of the soup. So they'll be kept right until the end. And more of the onion flavours will go directly for the soup. So this is the bowl for the soup. And this is the bowl for the toppings. So I'll also cut up the onion. So I have 3 bowls. This bowl is for my toppings, for my soup, the finished product. This bowl is what I'm going to add to my dumpling mix. This bowl is what I'm going to add to my soup. So I'm going to add the onions to the soup. I'll actually fry them off first. This is the packet of shiitake mushrooms, which I've got in a cup. I've put in a cup here. And I'm just going to soak those in boiling water to let them rehydrate. So I've just got that soaking here. So I have my shiitake mushrooms rehydrating. I also have my enoki mushrooms that I'll be adding to the soup. And I also have these mushrooms, mostly cut mushrooms and one flat mushroom. So I've got 4 different types of mushrooms I'm going to put in the soup. I'll also add shiitake mushrooms to the dumpling mixture. So I absolutely love mushrooms. I could easily cook mushrooms for breakfast, lunch and dinner, or just eat them raw. And the thing I like about having different mushrooms in a dish like this, because it's a dumpling dish that we're putting in soup, so you really got different textures, and that's why I'm using different mushrooms, because they've got different textures. So the coriander I'll put in the dumplings, and I'll also put on for the topping. Okay, just found a peeler, so that's awesome. So these are obviously homegrown carrots, so don't worry that they're not shiny because they taste pretty good. As long as you don't see anything crawling out of them, which I haven't. So I'll actually put some of the carrots in with the dumplings, and seeing how much we've got, we might put some in the soup as well. Okay, so that's our carrots. I'll dice some of these up to go in with the dumplings, and the rest I'll have like that for the soup. Okay, so these ones are going in for the soup. And these diced up ones are going in for the dumpling mix. I'm now cutting up a capsicum for the same reason, a little bit to go in the dumplings and some more to go in the soup. Okay, so I'll dice these up ready to go in the dumplings. So by having the same things in the soup mix and the dumplings, it really complements the flavours. They're things I'd sort of put in anyway if I had them lying around. And the fact that I've got freshly homegrown carrots and capsicum is wonderful. It's really going to add to the flavour. I can smell the difference already. I actually feel sorry for people who've never grown their own herbs or veggies. The key with dumplings is not to have too much filling. I've actually got remember I've got a big packet of dumplings, so it's bigger than I'd usually have. But I'll still try to have it so there's dumplings left, otherwise you end up with too much filling and you've got to go buy another packet of dumplings. Okay, so this is my mix for the dumplings, so I'll add the capsicum. So I've got spring onions, coriander, carrot and capsicum in there. Remember, for the soup mix, I've got the onions and spring onions that I'll fry off first. Now I've also got the mushrooms, carrot, and I'll also have capsicum. So that's the soup mix there. Okay, so these are my washed bean sprouts. I'm not using many of them. Again, I have a lot of ingredients. I want to sort of spread the flavours. I'm just finely cutting that up. So I'm going to use some for the toppings of the soup, and some for the dumplings as well. So I'm putting some of those in the topping of the soup. So this is with spring onions and coriander. So I've just got that there for the toppings. Also going to add this for the dumpling mixture, so just a little bit in that. So there you go, we've got spring onions, coriander, carrots, capsicum and so what I'm going to do now is cut up the Asian vegetables. So I've got some pak choy and choy sum. So I try to thinly cut these just because the leaves are so big anyway. So these are actually going to go in the soup. I might put a little bit in with the dumpling mixture as well. I'll put this in another bowl and I will actually keep some of it and cut it up and use it for the dumpling mixture as well. So that's a little bit of both left and I'll chop those up and use that for the dumplings, and this will be for the soup. So for the dumpling ones, I'll just do that a bit finer. I'll chop it up a bit finer. Okay, and that's for our dumpling mixture just here. So that's everything cut up really for the dumpling and the soup mixtures. In the soup we also add these enoki mushrooms, and we've also got some rice noodles. So we'll also do that with the soup. But what we'll do now is we'll start making the dumplings. Okay, so now all the vegetables are cut up. So for the soup, I have spring onions and onions diced, which I'll fry with some garlic to begin with. For the vegetables for the soup, I have capsicum, carrot, mushrooms. I also have some pak choy and choy sum. I also have some shiitake mushrooms that I've got rehydrating. So I'll also use some of these for the dumpling mixture. And for the rest of the dumpling mixture, I've got a little bit of the green leafy Asian vegetables with a little bit of carrot and capsicum and bean sprouts. And I've also got a little bit of spring onions. So what I'll be doing is adding the mince to this, and I'll then start assembling the dumpling wrappers. So remember, I got the big packet of dumpling wrappers. So that's these ones here. That's how I'll make the dumplings. And then I'll start on the soup, and the end result, I'll put the dumplings inside the soup and season with the veggies I have, which is spring onion, bean sprouts and coriander. These are the rehydrated shiitake mushrooms, which I'm now going to chop up finely for the dumplings. I'll just move that one out of the way. So this is the final thing I'm doing before assembling the dumplings. The bigger ones I'm going to leave for the soup. I love these because they taste quite fibrous and it's really an interesting texture to have in dumplings. It's one of those things, if you're having yum cha in a restaurant and you have something and you're not sure what it was, it feels like a meat, but it's not. It's sort of a vegetable. It's probably a shiitake mushroom. Okay, so these are the diced up shiitake mushrooms that are rehydrated, and I'll add those to the dumpling mixture just here. And these ones I'll add to the soup mixture. Okay, now for assembling the dumplings, I have the dumpling mixture. I also have my dumpling wrappers, and I also have a bowl of water. But what I need to do first is add the mince to the dumpling wrappers. So I just have this bag of sausages, and I'm simply going to take the mince out of those. So it's literally squeezing the mince out of them. and putting it to my dumpling veggies. Just making sure there's no skin in that. And if there is, just take the mince out of that skin. Okay, so that's it for the sausages. So I might take my wedding ring off and then start mixing that in. I might just use my fingers because my fingers are already dirty, and it's trying to get it all mixed in with the seasoning and the sausage mince. So this is what I'm going to use to fill the dumplings. I'm not going to add any other seasoning. If you've watched my previous vlogs with dumpling making, I've actually just used plain mince from a supermarket, and in that case I've seasoned it with, you know, fish sauce, oyster sauce, Worcester sauce, chili sauce, that sort of thing. But because this mince is already seasoning, I'm just having it as it is, and then I'm also going to be adding that to soup anyway. Hopefully there's some left over and we can just freeze them and have them at some other point. So that's basically our dumpling mixture there, all mixed up. So what I then do is start assembling the dumplings. So the dumplings I'm making are simply pot stickers. That's what I'm doing. So I've got my water here and my mixture here. Just going to take a little bit of the mixture and put it in the middle, and then just wrap that up like a little pot sticker. Okay, so the stack is getting smaller and the mixture's getting smaller. Hopefully I have just the right amount. I haven't weighed it or anything, I've just gone by what it looks like. There are fancier ways of folding it, but I haven't done that. Okay, lucky last. And there's just a few more dumplings, so almost got the amount right. We could actually just cut these up and put that in the soup as well. We might as well, rather than saving literally 3 of them. So what I'll probably do is just tear that up, and then we'll just put that in kind of like noodles in the soup. So just tearing that up and just going to add that to the soup. There we go, so that's our dumplings made. Okay, now I'm going to start the soup. I've just got some butter in here. Also putting some garlic to taste. In that I'll add the onions and spring onions. What I'm also going to add to that is the shiitake mushroom sauce. And just start browning those onions and garlic. And I'll also put a little bit of oil in that. Alright, so just starting the soup stock. Okay, so that's smelling good. So that's oil, shiitake mushroom juice, and onions and spring onions and garlic. I'm going to start adding these veggies now. I've got carrot, capsicum, mushroom, cut mushrooms and shiitake mushrooms. So we've got a nice big pot. Okay, and this is our stock that we're going to use, a Thai stock base. We've never actually used this before, so we will taste it to see how spicy it is first. So this one it's infused with lemongrass chili and kaffir lime. So we're just going to taste a little bit of that. Smelling it, I don't want to taste it, but if I'm going to cook it, I probably should. Oh, it's interesting. It's the lime's really quite strong. But that's okay. I mean, we're going to add dumplings and other things, and we've got veggies, so we're really going to be using that as the stock. And we've got lots of other flavours as well. Okay, so that's basically our stock mix added to some of our veggies. And then we still have the green Asian veggies, the pak choy and choy sum, but we can add those a little bit later. And the other bowl that we have is the toppings. So we've got the coriander, spring onions and bean sprouts. Okay, so that's looking good and smelling good. We're also going to add some enoki mushrooms. So these are some enoki mushrooms. I've just cut them from the base. Just sprinkle those in. And we'll add about the same amount again. So about the same amount again. I'm also going to add those last few wonton wrappers that we had. I'll just put those in the soup. Because it's not worth keeping just a few, we'll just use them in the soup. Okay, that's smelling good. So you could season that with salt and pepper if you want, or add chili or something like that. Okay, so we'll start cooking some of the dumplings in the soup. You could do it separately, or since we're doing the soup, I'm just going to cook it at the same time. So we're just going to start putting these in gently. There's 4 people eating tonight, so I'm aiming for 2 each. So I want 2 more. There we go. So now we've got the dumplings cooking in with the soup. So I could possibly add another 4, so there's room for that. So I'll add another 4 more, so that's basically going to be 3 each then. So I'm adding them in one at a time so that they're separate from each other. There we go. So we've got 3 dumplings each now. We've got 12 dumplings for 4 people. So it's smelling beautiful. We'll just let those dumplings cook. Then we'll take the dumplings out and then we'll add the green veggies. And that's basically our soup cooked and then our dumplings. I'm not going to add any salt and pepper, but I'll serve it up with salt and pepper and people can add that to their liking. So that's looking good. That's the dumplings being cooked in the soup liquid. Okay, so these are our rice noodles. I'm just going to use 1 square of that. because it's already quite big. The dumplings are cooking away nicely. So just adding in the rice noodles to the bottom of that. So the dumplings are looking good. They're being steamed with the soup. Now I'm just going to start breaking up the rice noodles a little bit down the bottom. It's already quite a lot. It's quite dense with vegetables and things, so I don't want to add too much to it. Okay, so we're just about done. So I hope everyone's hungry. Alright, so what I'll also do before we finish is add in our green veggies. They won't take long at all, so I'm putting them in last. So just putting all that in. And just making sure they're a bit covered in some of the stock, and then that will help cook them. So you can even put egg in with this if you wanted a softball egg. You could put chili paste. You don't have to use coriander. You can use whatever veggies you've got. Soup's always a good recipe to make when you want to use up veggies. You've got lots of veggies to use. And that's just about done. Okay, so we've dished out our soup with dumplings, and now I'm going to do a tasting. So it looks beautiful and colourful with all the vegetables. I'll just do a tasting. Yeah, the soup's beautiful. And I'll also taste the dumpling. So as you can see, I've got a dumpling just here, and I'll just taste that. So it's a bit hot. It's nice with the infused flavour of the soup. I'm just getting a bit of the dumpling filling. Yeah, that's absolutely beautiful. It's really nice. It's really light and zingy. It's a beautiful flavour, and it's really nice with all the vegetables. It's really healthy. All right, so enjoy. Thank you for watching till the end. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Rhonda's Late Readings. Please like the video, please share with your friends, and please comment below. Let me know how you make Asian soup and how you make dumplings and what you've done differently or what you've done the same as me. So thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.